Welcome everyone. So today I want to show you how do we prove this very well-known trigonometric identity. So we want to prove that tangent of u plus v is equal to this formula we got on the right hand side. So let's go ahead and do that. So you might feel inclined to say, okay, I can rewrite tangent in terms of sine over cosine. That's the definition of tangent. So let's go ahead and do that. So we know we're going to be using these tools. So we know that sine of, let's say, sum of two angles, u plus v, it's equal to sine of u cosine of v plus cosine of u sine of v. So we know that identity. Now let's go ahead and write down the identity for cosine of sum of two angles, u plus v. So that would be cosine u cosine v minus sine of u and sine of v. So knowing these two identities, it's going to help you to prove the identity for sum of two angles for tangent. So let's go ahead and start our proof. So we're going to start off by rewriting tangent of u plus v. So tangent of u plus v is equal to, let's do sine of u plus v divided by cosine of u plus v. So we know we can do that. Well, now, using above those two formulas for sine and cosine, I'm going to go ahead and replace them. So now I know this will be, so sine of u plus b will be replaced with this formula. We have sine u cosine of v plus cosine u sine v divided by, now replacing cosine of u plus b with this formula we have. So that gives us cosine u cosine v minus sine u and sine v. Now here's the trick. So it looks like we're really not going anywhere from here, but this is the trick that will help us to really rewrite this formula. So you have to notice that what we're proving is the one for tangent. Looks like, so focus on this portion right here, and we know somehow we need to get at 1 right here. So, well, so that's your hint. That means if I can somehow make this a 1, then I am going towards proving that identity. So I'm going to go ahead and actually divide, or rather multiply the right hand side by 1 over cosine of u cosine of v, because that's how I can make this part to be 1. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 1 over cosine u cosine v divided by 1 over cosine u cosine v. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to turn the shaded portion, which is this, to be a 1. So if I do this algebraically, I will get a 1 there. Everything else should fall into place. So let's continue doing that. So by distribution, we get sine u cosine v over this factor that we're multiplying it by, cosine u cosine v, plus now also cosine u sine v divided by this factor we're multiplying it by, so that's cosine u cosine v. So think about it this way. You have this term, and this would go into this term and the term, and same thing on the bottom. So after finish distributing the top, now we do the same thing on the denominator. Continue distributing. We get cosine u cosine v divided by cosine u cosine v minus sine u sine v divided by cosine u and cosine v. Okay, so now we're ready to simplify this as much as we can. Well, we know that this is our desired portion, which is 1. That's what we want it. So let's see what everything else simplifies to. So we know that. So let's focus on this part right here. What will that simplify to? Well, I see that cosine v and cosine v from top and bottom cancels out. So I'm left with a sine u over cosine u. Plus, now from the second fraction, it seems like, well, cosine u and cosine u cancels out. So I am left with a sine v over cosine v. Now let's focus on the denominator. So we know this is 1. So that's nice. Minus, now from the second fraction, this one, nothing seems to be canceling out. All right, so let's keep it that way. Now I'm going to rewrite it this way. Sine u over cosine u with same angle, and sine v over cosine v. So I just kind of rewrote the fraction in this form, so nothing really changed for that portion. So continuing on, now sine u over cosine u, well, we know this is going to be tangent of u, because sine over cosine is tangent, and the argument is u. So we know that is equal to tangent of u. Similarly, sine v over cosine v is going to be tangent of v, because sine over cosine is again tangent by definition, so the argument is v. All over, now we have a 1 minus, so again, this is going to be tangent of u, and this is going to be tangent of v. So let's rewrite those. We have tangent u times tangent v. And that's our identity. So we have proven the identity that we wanted to prove, that tangent of u plus b is equal to tangent u plus tangent v over 1 minus tangent u tangent v. And that's exactly what we have shown right here. So that completes the proof. I hope you enjoyed.